Ogryns set the pace. They push as well as defend. Gunners lead with lead. There's a little haiku for you. This video, in spirit, is a reboot of my Holemaker build. I'm focusing on the use of two particular weapons and building talents around that. The latrine shovel is a versatile weapon. It's a jack of all trades and comes with the most powerful melee special attack for controlling enemies in the game. You want to prioritize damage, penetration, and first target while having crowd control and defenses at as close to an even split as the Omnissiah allows. Defenses does need to be high enough to provide a maximum dodge limit of 4. On my spade, I run brutal momentum and thrust with damage to carapace and flak. There are 3 stubbers to pick from. I've tried them all. I settled on the Croak Mark V with crit chance, damage to elites, and blaze away with charmed reload. I'd prefer it if the damage to elites were flak, as the Mark V doesn't deal with armor as well as the Gorgonum. Mine rolled this way, so I roll with it. I tend to play with what I'm given and rarely roll up grays. For the stubber, you want to prioritize, in order of importance, damage, ammo, range, collateral, and stability. Talent tree. The gunlugger side of Ogryn's talent tree is interesting. There are a lot of choices here, but in exploration and testing, I found that some are very weapon specific or just not useful for how I play this build. Additionally, they don't necessarily behave like you'd think. Running charmed reload on the stubber, I have no reason to take reloaded and ready, plus 12% range damage for 6 seconds on reload. I typically only need to reload my stubber after an engagement has ended, though the extra damage would be nice when activating point blank barrage. Before patch 14, this does not provide the damage boost from reloading after activating point blank barrage. Reloaded and ready definitely procs from a typical reload. This is a known issue. If you find you lean on your stubber frequently and activate your ability a lot, and this gets fixed, you could swap this out for the plus 25 toughness or just getting started to pick it up. Furious, when coupled with hard knocks, is very strong for horde clearing with a shovel. When utilizing the light-heavy combo, light 1 to heavy 2, during a dense horde, and you've already gone through at least one combo, Furious is supplying light 1 with 25% extra damage. Hard Knocks is supplying heavy 2 with upward of 23% extra damage. I tend to see those types of numbers when I'm fully stacked up on heavy hitter and I'm getting 1 or 2 stacks of thrust, which is pretty easy to do. A brutal momentum shovel is pretty good at horde clearing. There is a little bit of wind-up time though. Once it gets rolling, it goes from pretty good to great. The best defense, when coupled with the rolling heads from your heavy 2, can get you upward of 50% toughness back on a single swipe. It's quite strong. When you couple this with linchpin, you become an absolute monster in melee. Heavyweight helps your digger really shine against those big boys. When folks start giving ground when there is a pack of crushers and bulwarks bearing down, you'll be pushing forward. Gaining plus 30% damage to Ogryn enemies while also receiving plus 30% damage reduction from them is why you're here. This is nothing but heavy 1 and heavy 2 time. After one elite kill, you'll gain plus 30% rending from dominate, and dominate you will. When you see something as tall as you are, go get some. I like the attack speed gain from getting started, but you could swap this out for whatever you want. I take delight in destruction because I have to. There are a lot of bleed sources in this game, and this may provide some benefit. There's a lot of bleed going around these days. Now, I tend to only throw light-only combos when I'm cleaning up some stragglers before moving on. It's faster. That being said, I'm either throwing heavy-only combos, or I'm throwing the light-heavy combo. Implacable nets me 15% damage reduction while charging heavies. Sometimes I like to get those max thrust stacks, even on hordes. This comes in handy in case I take a swipe from some knucklehead. If I do, it's payback time. I talked about this in my club's video. Back then, I had to choose it over other damage talents. Here, I get them all. Gaining plus 20% damage is a lot. I even get it if I block the attack. Think you might need some extra damage in a second? Block an attack and get after it. Get stuck in sounds great. Honestly, I don't even know if it works. I take it because I want bruiser. There are a lot of elites out there, and they provide a lot of cooldown reduction. For your blitz, it's really up to you. Bombs away is great, you get 2 of them, and they break open after hitting anything, even the floor. I sometimes use them like a zealot stun grenade. Frag bomb is a reset button, and that's why I take it. With the way the game spawns in enemies now, you can get enemies from both sides quickly in those long, narrow sections of a map. Frag Bomb can make one of them go away. It's very difficult for me to take Big Friendly Rock in any of my builds because Soften Them Up is so strong. Enemies I damage take plus 15% extra damage for 5 seconds. Cool, I'm down. I take Point Blank Barrage, Bullet Bravado, and Light 'em Up. Light 'em Up is where your boss damage comes from. It is very, very strong. I take Ammo Stash for more DAKKA, and Stay Close is my aura for some extra team support, not to mention the fact that it just makes me harder to kill. Why the croak? Croak. Why the croak? I don't even know how to say that. In some testing of movement rate when hip firing, the Gorgonum is 4 seconds slower than the Achilles when moving between pillars in the Psychanium. The Croak is 1 second slower than the Achilles. The Croak is a bit better than the Achilles when engaging enemies at 20 meters. It applies burn stacks from Light 'em Up faster than the Gorgonum. It also suppresses alright and has a decent ammo pool and capacity. If Charmed Reload procs on a single left click burst, I get 5 rounds loaded for having shot 3. The Achilles fires 4 rounds and the Gorgonum fires 2. The Croak is right there in the middle. How it plays. I use my stubber like a purgation flamer. When things get thick, it's time to get after it and braced fire. Braced fire helps to stabilize the vertical recoil while providing some horizontal sway for effective ammo dumps on groups. I also push with it. Hip fire, without using Point Blank Barrage, is really effective for clearing a path and moving forward. When using Point Blank Barrage, it really gets things out of the way quick, fast, and in a hurry. I melee a lot. I like it. This is probably why I don't like playing Psyker much. When it's time for melee, this build is very strong and tough and is very capable of taking down those big boys. When it's time for ranged combat and your group is getting a lot of pressure and needs to push, use Point Blank Barrage and lead the way. This is how I play this weapon pairing. I have a couple of other weapons I like to run with the latrine shovel. Look for those builds soon. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Now, go slay some heretics, would you?